Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm gonna do some drawing today. I'm exhausted. Also, my asthma is acting up a teensy bit, so I apologize if I sound like I can't breathe. Um, anyway, yeah, I have to go to work today, so I'm just kinda got that on my mind, and figured I'd get some drawing in. I need to take that color and that layer. Oops. Yeah. What is that layer again? Oh yeah. Should probably mark that later. So anyway, yeah, hope you guys are having a good day and hope that if you have to work, it's not terrible. I just hit that layer and nothing happened. Oh yeah, I put that on its own thing. Cause it's clothing. Anyway, yeah, I hope you guys are having a good day. Ready to watch some drawing. Yeah. Actually, I shouldn't really be complaining. It's my shift today is going to be really short. I'm only there from 5 to 9, so I mean, whoopee, 4 hours. We're 9:30 technically, but uh, my shift tomorrow. I think I'm more a little bit about because I have to get there at 7 in the morning, and then I am there until 7:30. So it's one of those types of shifts. At least I get to come home for a few hours. I might try to take a nap. Definitely ain't gonna be up drinking tonight. Oh no, sorry. But I'm gonna try to get some drawing in before I have the next few days to basically just work, I guess. But yeah. Anyway, uh, I looked at some of the requests for clothing a little better, and uh, one of them I had to kind of look it up. It's weird. I work in retail, and I'm just like, what's that called again? Um, but yeah, you know, living the dream. Hopefully, hopefully I make enough YouTube videos that people think I'm really cool, or at least cool enough that YouTube will. I don't know, unless I'm cool enough to sell out. Because then I can stay at home and make videos all day long, and that's way more fun. But, yeah, you know, circle of life. I'm sorry that my throat clearing is kind of gross, but it's not like I'm dying or anything. That looks pretty good. So yeah, I thought I had some more stories to tell. Uh, Actually, I do have a really stupid story to tell. I'm probably gonna maybe talk about it also in my video, because Kat might bring it up and want to know what the heck. But yesterday, I did something really dumb. I I apparently laughed at one of my own jokes, like really hard, and I ended up in the hospital because I laughed at one of my own jokes really hard. And like in hindsight, it's like really ridiculous, but like okay, so pretty much how it went down. Um, it was kind of basically the perfect storm. Like I had to get up really early yesterday, and I did some editing and a little bit of drawing just to kind of catch up on some of my more creative workload stuff. And so I woke up in the morning at about 7. I had gone to bed at like 1, so like didn't really get that much sleep, but who needs sleep? I'm really bad at sleeping like a normal human being. So, uh, I was tired, and I came home after my early morning shifts, and I was in the middle of editing my like just failure of a Majora's Mask video. I mean, it's really funny, but like I haven't played that game in a long time, and I was trying to like play it without like looking up any hints or cheats to remind me, and I basically just like laughingly failed over and over and over and over and over, and um, I made a joke that was like equivalent to uh, Bruce Almighty's like is it Kevin Baxter where he's like what and I just like died literally, almost literally, not literally. I did hurt myself. I was laughing so hard that I pretty much like leaned forward in my laughter, like you know, guffawing so hard that you end up in the fetal position type of deal, and um, I like tweaked my lower intestines doing this. And so like when it first happened, I was like, "Oh god, what the hell?" Like intense pain all of a sudden. And I was like, "This is weird. I've never had this happen before. What's going on?" And I started to panic, and I was like, "Don't panic. You're making it worse." And so I like get up and I like stretch and I'm like, what is this pain? What is happening? You know, it's like when something happens and you're like, should I go to the hospital? Like if you think that for a split second, you probably are okay. Like if you get up and you're just all like, oh god, I might die. Like that's when you go to the hospital, and that's literally how I felt. I was like, oh god, I broke something. Oh shit. And so, wait, is it too? All right, well, I cursed. I didn't set my cursing alarm. Oh well. Anyway, good thing I'm not being monetized just yet. But anyway, anyway, I was like, waited for the pain to go away, and I'm actually going to get rid of this guy's whole butt. I'm just gonna redo this part. I don't like it. So I'm like driving to the hospital, and it's starting to go away, like this like sharp pain. And when I get there, like I don't I've only been to the hospital for myself like only a few times, and usually like my mom is there and she knows like what to do and say. And so I just kind of walked in like holding my guts, like afraid that they're about to fall out, and the lady there was like, "Can I help you?" And I was like, "I don't really know uh what to say. I so I think I broke my guts." And she's just like, "How'd this happen?" And I go, "Well, uh I I laughed really hard." And she just kind of like looks me up and down, like I'm like standing there like holding my stomach, like super afraid something is like out of place. And she's just like, "All right, well, I'll go ahead and we'll get you into the admissions room, and you can tell the nurse there a little more." And I was like, "All right." And so, they get me in right away. They put on one of those like plastic wristband things with your name on it and information, and I'm sitting there just kind of patiently, and the lady just kind of like, she seems tired too. Like we're both just like, bleh. I even comment, I was like, must have been a long day, and she's just like, "I'm sorry, I'm just kind of tired." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, me too." And so she's just like, "So tell me what you did." And I was like, "Well, I was at my desk." And she's like, "So you're sitting down?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I was editing a video of mine, and I said something really funny, and I basically laughed too hard at one of my own jokes. And like the look she gave me was like, "You have to be kidding me right now." Like she kind of just like looked at me, But then, I was in pain, so it's like we kind of have to take that seriously. And so, she goes, all right, well, we'll get your vitals going and we'll get you set up. She goes, are you in pain now? And I'm like, no, it's gone away. And she goes, but you're like holding your stomach. I'm like, it's like I can still kind of feel where it was. Like it's a bruise, but it's not a painful bruise. Like it's still like left its mark, and I'm afraid of it coming back. And she's just like, all right, well, we'll go ahead and get your temperature and your heart rate and make sure everything's okay. And so, they did all that, and I'm sitting there in my room, and I need to set an alarm because I totally forgot to do that. Pause for a second, although I'm not even going to pause. I'm just going to tell you guys. I'm going to set my alarm really quick there. Anyway, yeah, that should be good. Anyway, so I'm sitting there, and the like I guess I would call him, okay, I'm dumb. I don't know what this terminology, the RN, the nurse, like the head nurse, I don't know. So he comes into the room and he goes, so I heard you laughed at one of your own jokes so hard it hurt you, or something like that. I heard you laughed at one of your own jokes. I was like, yeah. He goes, it must have been really funny. And I was like, yeah, it was pretty funny. And he's like, what was it? I'm like, I don't really know how to explain it. Like you have to well, okay. I mean, I did a pretty good job explaining it just then, but like at the time I was like, you kind of would have to see the video in order to understand. I don't really want to go into the details because I don't really know that you'd think it's funny or would understand it. Like I played Majora's Mask and I failed a ton, and it was really more dumb than funny, but dumb humor. Uh, but yeah, he was pretty cool, and then the doctor came in and he made sure that like he was looking for whether or not my guts had actually been rearranged, um, which he told me actually what happened. And he goes, all right, so where you said that you felt the pain, that's definitely like at your stomach and lower intestines, and you pretty much bruised your lower intestines. And I was like, huh, interesting. Um, yeah, so I busted a gut. But yeah, apparently that's not super uncommon, uh, especially when you're tired and your body feels pretty exhausted. And you get older. I'm not even that old. I'm just in my 30s where things just start not working how they used to as well. I don't know. Somebody who's older than me is gonna be like, "You don't know what you're talking about, old." I don't know. There's always like, I hate talking about like getting old, um, with people that are older than me because they have to turn it into a spitting contest like immediately. They're just like, well, you don't really know what being getting old's like. I'm like, all right, well, I'm not. This isn't a contest. You've already won. You see, you've won. Like, so since you've won, can you just listen to my gripe for just a hot minute because I like. I'm having gallbladder pain, and that's only normal when you get older. But yeah. Uh, my back hurts in weird places, and when I poop, I have to wipe and wipe and wipe and wipe and wipe and wipe and wipe. Uh, but yeah, it was pretty gross. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm pretty sure there's a select number of people out there that were like, dude, she's so right. But yeah, I just I'll still bring up getting old, but like, I just hate talking about it with older people. Oh, I'm older. I win. Yeah, you do. You definitely won that. That was a competition. You got the blue ribbon on that one, my friend. Uh, But yeah, um, don't laugh too hard at your own jokes. Actually, so the doctor, as he was like making sure I wasn't like dying or anything, he looked at one of my tattoos, and I have this tattoo on my arm that's of a quill, right? It's like so basic bitch, but it's not like that basic of a bitch. Me, but so it's actually a pretty cool tattoo because I have one, and then Kat, who's also in this channel, she's got one very similar. And when we got the tattoos together, they are matching tattoos, but they've kind of like evolved over time because she had, details changed on hers. And when I originally got mine, I decided that I wanted like kaleidoscope fractals like inside the quill. Like it's basically just like a feather with a nib outline, and then on the inside it's got like tessellizing fractals. And so, I mean, it's like a solid piece. And so, when I first got it, it was super cool. It was very detailed. It still is. It's like, I want to say like 7 years old now, but maybe 5. I might be wrong. I'll have to look. I'll have to ask her because I forget. Uh, but anyway, um, so when the doctor saw it, he's like, "That's a really neat tattoo. Is it a sea cucumber?" And so, uh, enter in a very long and drawn out story. So this is not the first time I have had somebody ask me if my quill tattoo is a sea cucumber. This is actually something that has happened a few times. And when I first got this tattoo, uh, I then very shortly after started dating this guy, and I was at his sister's house, and we were all sitting for dinner, and it was like Jewish New Year. I don't know what it's called, but like it was like a Jewish family feast sort of holiday. And yeah, hold on. I'm like thinking about this image. I'm actually going to give this guy a few more details, I think, on that layer. Make sure I'm on the right layer. Alright, so yeah, it was like a Jewish feast holiday, and I'm sitting next to his sister's husband, he's like a teacher, and or a professor, and so he takes himself really seriously, um, which kind of made it really hard to get along with him at first, or just ever actually. You just kind of like start taking it in stride and not taking his what he says seriously, because he really liked to generalize, and because he's a professor, like he knows everything, and you can't really get a word in edgewise. You're just like clearly the idiot between the two of you. And so he would make these like sweeping generalized statements that I felt were unfair, and so I kind of just didn't agree with him ever. And that made it really hard to get along with him. I just kind of after a while I just kind of stopped listening. Oh yeah, all right, yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, clearly you're the smarter one. Um, anyway, so he's like sitting next to me, and he goes, "Is that a sea cucumber?" And like the tattoo was new, and so like, and I it was like my second tattoo ever, so I kind of took it personal. Like I kind of felt like that was, I mean, you're incorrect, sir, but like I didn't really know how to adjust my temperament to not take it personal. And so I kind of just like sneered at him and was like, no, it's not. And I explained what it was, like just like what I did now. It's supposed to be a quill. And he's like, well, it's really nice looking, but like I thought it was a sea cucumber, with him and he has to be right all the time sort of thing. And I was like, well, it's not. Well, I thought it was. Right. Well, clearly this is now an argument. So, yeah, that was the first time that somebody said that, and the second time, I'm trying to remember the second time somebody said that. The third and fourth time. Oh, okay. So the second time somebody said it, it was back when I was working as a sushi chef, and I had a trainee with me, and it was like closing time, and typically we couldn't show off tattoos, and so I had my chef garb, sort of like covering it up with my long sleeve chef outfit, and I don't like how that works. There. So yeah, I actually, it's like closing time, around closing time, and I roll up my sleeves and say, all right, I'm gonna do some of the closing cleaning tasks. Uh, Go ahead and help the customers and do all of the orders so that way you can get some training in. And my other sushi chef is like, all right. And so he's like, making the sushi while I clean. And this couple comes in, and the tattoo is fairly new, and the guy was like, "That's such a cool tattoo," because the fractals are pretty neat looking. And he goes, "Is that a sea cucumber?" And I just like, I'm in the middle of working, so I'm just kind of like, nah. Like I laugh, and I was like, "Nah, it's actually, it's a quill. That's where the nib is. This is the feathers. Feathers." And I explained it to him. And he goes, "Wow, okay, now that I see it, it's really well done." And it's like, I can't be mad at him. Plus, I'm working. It's not like I can just be mad at a customer. No. But yeah, he compliments it, and I go about my merry way cleaning dead fish carcass off of cutting tables. Uh, and yeah, so the third time, um, both the third and the fourth time, were friends of my mom, and these older ladies. And at this point in time, when the third time happens, I'm just kind of like, this is kind of like one of those ink block tests. Like, if you're seeing a sea cucumber, like, what sort of psychological issues can I deduct from such things? Like, who looks at something like long and uh, like detailed and just immediately thinks sea cucumber? There are many long and detailed things. You could do like dildo. You could do like, I don't know, an actual cucumber. I'm pretty sure we see real actual cucumbers a few more times in our lives than we run across a sea cucumber. But no, it's like sea cucumber is like the thing that people like to say. And so the third time, my mom's friend who's visiting, and she's got her like fiance, and he's like this big old doctor, and she goes, like, we're all sitting down, she's like, "Wow, what a really nice tattoo," obviously because of the fractals. It's always been complimented as being pretty. And she goes, "Is that a sea cucumber?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, it's a sea cucumber." And she goes, "Wow, that's really neat. I would never think to get a sea cucumber tattoo." And I just kind of laugh, and I correct her. I was like, "Okay, actually, I gotta stop you there. I I bamboozled you. It's not a sea cucumber. It's actually a quill." And then I go into explaining it, and she goes, "Wow, okay, now I see it." And I was like, "Yeah." So I'm learning to get less and less ticked that people ask if it's a sea cucumber, because at this point in time, it's kind of turned into a giant joke. And so I bet that one has better. There we go. Okay. So um, so yeah, people keep, this is very common, and why get mad at something that happens a lot? So unless you want to change it, and I don't, I like my tattoo. So anyway, yeah, the fourth time is another friend of my mom, and we were in downtown, and we decided to go to this like really snazzy sort of like Russian restaurant. Like it was, I don't know, it was like Russian themed, where you could get like chilled shot glasses of like super fancy vodka, and they like they sold Sprat, which is like it's like sardines on toast. It's actually really good. It's not. It sounds weird, but it's actually quite yummy. I'm gonna tackle that hand later when I'm not talking and don't multitask and I'm not tired. Um, anyway, so she's sitting next to me and she looks at my tattoo and we'd been out in the rain all day long, so like I'm soaked and I'm like trying to get dry. And she looks at my arm and she goes, "Is that a sea cucumber?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm tired, I'm soaked, I'm exhausted, and this is now the fourth time somebody has asked me if this is a sea cucumber. And she's just like, "Wow, that's so neat, it's so pretty." And I was like, "Thank you." And she goes, "Why would you get a sea cucumber on your arm?" And I'm just like, "Well, sea cucumbers are my spirit animal." Just straight faced. And she goes, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Why would they be your why would sea cucumbers be your spirit animal?" And I'm like, "Well, see, sea cucumbers are really tenacious. They actually, nobody fucks with a sea cucumber. Have you noticed? Cause like, they're down there, uh, at the bottom of the ocean, inconspicuously, just like living their lives. And I just kind of feel that I just think that's beautiful. Like, I want to live a life where nobody fucks with me." And she goes, "Wow, that's really inspiring." I was like, "Yeah." And I just don't correct her. I just let it go. I'm like, she probably still thinks it's a sea cucumber and has this, like, beautiful story about a sea cucumber that doesn't exist. That is my spirit animal. That is down at the bottom of the ocean. Unfuckwithable. And so, anyway, so, to go back to my story from earlier, I'm in the hospital and, I'm laying there on the really weird bed that he's like making sure that my guts haven't like hemorrhaged in any weird direction. And he looks at my arm, and the doctor himself, he looks at me and he goes, "Is that a sea cucumber?" And I just smile and I shake his hand. I was like, I lift up my hand and I shake his hand. He kind of gives me this look like we just shook hands. Like, and I just go, "No, but it's not." But you're not the first person to say that. And he goes, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's like a lot of people see a sea cucumber." And I'm just, I just got done being in pain and I'm tired and I feel really dumb because the reason I'm there is because I'm so funny. And I do correct him. Like, I'm like, "Oh, it's a quill." But I don't even go into details. I just kind of see, there's the nib, because quills have nibs. And we're done explaining the sea cucumber story. But yeah, people, I don't know what it is. Everybody that sees it, not everybody, but a lot of, like, I guess you could call them older people. Older than me. The kind of people that would get mad at younger people calling themselves old and turn it into a pissing contest. Like those types of people. They apparently see sea cucumbers on ink blot tests. I think that this is really fascinating and warrants being looked into a little more. What could you tell of someone that observes a sea cucumber in a completely unanimous shape? Just like, does that mean that they aspire to do interesting things, or it's like if you see a sea cucumber in this ink blot test, you take age very personally. Uh, but yeah, um, yeah, tattoos are cool. They are cool actually. I've got a few of them. Um, I think my one of my best ones is I actually have the horde symbol from World of Warcraft tattooed on my arm, and I think that's been the best investment of my entire life because, it's definitely now an age thing because there are kids these days who have never played World of Warcraft and probably never will. They're stuck playing Fortnite and Minecraft, and they'll never understand the struggle of killing a million Planestriders to only find out none of them have beaks. But yeah, I'll definitely run into people that play, and both Horde and Alliance people will go, "Hey, neat tattoo," and I'm like, "Thanks," and they're like, "Well, I play on Alliance." That's how it is. Like, if it's a Horde person, they're not gonna say neat tattoo. They're gonna be like, "Taz Dingo," or like, "Alaktor Ugar, my friend," and I'm like, "Yeah, yo brother." But if they're Alliance, they'll be like, "I play on the Alliance side, me boop." But actually, I did have an Alliance player who is a streamer. I think his name's like Safety First or something. He used to eat. Oh, that's my alarm. I'll wrap this up. He used to eat frequently at my sushi restaurant, and he saw my tattoo, and he immediately was like, "Gross," and I was like, "Yeah, you're gross." And he's like, "Horde," and I was like, "Alliance." And I was like, "What's it like to play with furries all day long?" He goes, "I don't know. What's it like to shop at Hot Topic every time?" And I was like, "It's great." But, nah, actually, he was pretty funny. Um, took himself very, very seriously, though. I have a feeling, like, he'd probably be cool to hang out with for, like, a split second, and then, he would, I don't know, talk about himself the whole time, like I do. That's probably why I don't get along with those types of people, because I'm awesome. uh, but yeah, so, that's, I'm actually, I gotta finish this part, it's gonna drive me nuts. I'm going to quickly finish this, and then I'm going to finish the video. And yeah, if you guys, want to hear more stories, I usually am pretty good at coming up with things to talk about, but if you want to know something about me, go ahead and ask. Um, Definitely going to be working on this one for a while. And so yeah, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, comment. Actually, if you just want to like subscribe and comment, that's cool. Anyway, have a good rest of your day.